when someone says on Cinco de Mayo, do you have your glasses? It's just a natural. We can't hear you, Sybil.
Nope, can't hear Sybil at all. But you know what? You can hear. We can hear Maya. We can hear Myra, and we can hear Stephen. We can hear Sybil.
Yes. Can you give us a little Cinco de Mayo ditty?
I like. I should learn how to play some spec. Nope. We cannot hear the Sybil. And I wish I knew something Mexican. I don't know.
But while Sybil is rebooting, Merry Cinco de Mayo.
Merry Cinco de Mayo to you.
Feliz Cinco de Mayo.
From two, by the way, from two people who still have their tans from when they were in the sun. You still have yours. You still got it. You kept yours, girl.
Yeah, I got it, baby.
Yeah.
I got it. I sure do.
I see what you did there.
I got it. This ain't Mac, baby. This ain't Mac. This is all Aruba. We're just talking. Hello, everyone out there in what you need to know land.
Thank you, TYO Dimples, for coming through, otherwise known as Sita, because your avatar looks like Sita. Good evening. Welcome to the Cinco de Mayo, 5th of May, right after Star Wars Day, which of course is the May the 4th be with you. I love how they appropriated that. I'm good with that.
Are you a Star Wars person?
You know, I love Star Wars. I actually saw Star Wars the second weekend it was out, when it came out in 77. But really? I'm not like a Star Wars person. I was much more of a Trekkie. Like I was a Trekkie. I used to, as Eddie Murphy said in Boomerang, I used to be able to break things down to the essence of the Trek.
Okay, the essence of you. No, I couldn't get into the tin can talking to the big wolf man. I went to the first.
Wait, for a minute, I was like, "Is she talking about the Wiz?"
That's what I was like. I'm like, what am I supposed to be excited about again? You know what? It was entertaining, but to be honest, I'm like, not for 1 second did I ever believe we were in space. I thought that everybody was in a studio, and I was just like, yeah. So I didn't see.
Yeah. Then of course there was the adult versions, like, you know, Star Wars, The Empire Up on My Back. You know, that's a different thing though. That's different.
You know what? You gotta stay out of those late night shops. I know New York is open 24 hours a day, but that doesn't mean you have to go. Okay.
Star Wars, Revenge of the One Eye. You know, I don't. It's just those things. You know.
Now, just a little bit of trivia. It was called Return of the Jedi, correct?
Well, the one that was at theater, yeah, not the Return of the One Eye.
Yes. Well, the little bit of trivia. Initially, before it was released, it was called Revenge of the Jedi. And I worked for the advertising company, and they had already started printing posters. They had 100 posters, Revenge of the Jedi, and I gave it to a friend of mine who was such a fan, because that poster didn't mean a thing to me, and it's probably worth a whole lot of damn money, right?
Wait, hold on. You had a Revenge of the Jedi poster? This is legendary in geek world. This is a legendary have.
Yes, and I gave it to her. That's how little the movie meant to me.
I am so about to get my Urkel on right now. I'm about to get my Urkel all the way on.
Yes.
When you gave it away and found out how much money it was worth, did you go, "Did I do that?" So, Sybil, how you doing?
How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear right now. Loud and clear.
Now.
It's a week of adjustment with our new studio and stuff like that and equipment, so I apologize for that. Did you play a little ditty for us, Stephen Hill? A little musical interlude?
I never meant to give you my Revenge of the
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on in the news. Did you hear about the Mali woman who had thought she was having 7 babies and 9 arrived?
Wow, I don't know I don't want to take that story apart.
You don't have to.
She was expecting 7,
She was expecting 7 and 9 came, but those are just some of the lighter topics that I was going to talk about, and that was lighter. But have you seen?
Not to the mother, that wasn't lighter.
Well,
I mean, to us it's like, to her it's like, I got 2 more sets of diapers to get.
Well,
but did the dad look at her funny? That's what I want to know. Okay, so, these 7 are mine.
Okay, I don't know where these other 2 came from. But I do want to talk about a surgical procedure of Mark Lamont Hill going all up in the gubernatorial candidate for Georgia, and that would be Vernon Jones.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. He was on Mark Lamont Hill's show, and Chica, if we have that information, if we have that video, can we start with part 1?
Okay. What is critical race theory?
Well, actually, I think it's different depending on who's teaching it and how they're teaching it. I think you can agree with that. We were taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, you and I both know that Christopher Columbus got lost. People are already living here. But there are those who are using their own ideology and their own party affiliation to go to the extreme. And that's all I'm trying to address here.
But what does that have to do with critical race theory? Let me pause for 1 second. I'm trying to understand, though. You oppose critical race theory, which I understand. I'm just asking, what is it? What is the thing you define it? Like, for example, if I said I'm against creationism, I would say creationism is X, Y, and Z, right? If I said I was against the teaching of sex education, I say, well, sex education is X, Y, and Z, and I'd have a basis for it. What is critical race theory?
Well, first of all, again, I can tell you, but it's left up to you to understand. I can't make you understand. The fact of it is, the critical race theory, even on its basis, should not be taught in our schools, period. Now, if you can't understand,
but what is it?
And if you want to debate, well, to me, what it does, to me, my interpretation, as well as many others.
No, not what it does. What is it? How do you define it? I mean, that's asking you to define critical race theory because my audience may not know.
Well,
say it
obviously
again.
You don't know, and you haven't. I said obviously you don't know, and you haven't told your audience. But again, how I see it and how it's been received. Well, then what is it then? No, what is it then? Okay,
well, I'm happy to answer that for you, but you're saying
just answer it. I'll tell you what. Just answer it for me. Let's not get into debate. Okay, I'm waiting for you to answer. Go ahead and answer it.
I will. Just hold on 1 second.
Just answer.
You're saying that on day one, answer the
question first. You answer the first question.
I promise I'll answer your question.
Wait till you answer. Well, I want you to answer before you move on.
That's fine. But
what is it? You can't tell your audience what it is.
I think
if you can't tell your audience what it is.
Sir, I'm going to answer.
Is that what you're saying,
all
sir?
Right, in order,
you tell me you can't tell your audience.
In order for us to have a conversation, we can't talk over each other, brother. I'm happy to answer your question, but I want to finish my question on my show.
So Vernon Jones was doing the old razzle dazzle. He couldn't answer the question, so he threw it back on Mark Lamont Hill and tried to disrupt the conversation from my point of view. And not to talk about what the subject was at hand, because he knew that I think he felt that first he really doesn't understand the concept of the question, and he knew that once they got past this, then he was going to have to make some answers and adjust to Mark Lamont Hill's pattern, and so he went on the attack instead of answering the questions.
Like every 7-year-old in the world would do.
Yes.
Every step. I know what it is. You don't know what is it then? No. What is it then? What is it then?
You tell me.
You don't know. You don't know, and you can't afford no ice cream. What? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?
Right.
My son told me he was interviewing someone for the job, and the guy actually said to him, "I know how I would do it, but how would you do it?"
And that's it. That's it, Myra. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So let's go on with the conversation and Vernon Jones and.
Oh, there's more. There's more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get some popcorn. I should get some popcorn. Keep going.
So what I'm saying is, on day one, you've made a statement that on day one you're going to have an executive order to ban something, and you have yet to define what the thing is you're going to ban. I'm happy to answer it. I happen to have expertise in this area, but I would think because you are going to make you're going to make as an executive order a ban of something. I would think that you would have a definition of it. You've told me what it does. You've mentioned Christopher Columbus, which has nothing to do with critical race theory. Critical race theory. You asked me to answer your question. There's plenty of time. We can go 3 segments. We got all night, so we'll have all the time in the world, brother. I do want to answer.
I asked you for an editorial. I asked you to answer, and you went through editorial. And let me say this. First of all, I'm on your show.
So critical race theory.
I didn't ask to be on your show. Let's be clear. Now, I'll let you talk. Now, allow me to talk. You dial into me and ask me to come on your show. Is that not correct? So don't pull that card that this is your show, because I got drafted. I didn't try for your team. You asked me to come on your show, so let's be clear about it. Effectively, you have not answered what is the critical race theory, because no matter what I said, I told you I would ban it. That's it. Now you tell me what it is. Tell me, since you're the expert.
Sure.
Because you these so-called experts. Did you write it? Did you write it? Did you write it? You're the expert. Did you write it?
Okay. So
what makes you expert? What makes you expert?
What makes me an expert is that for the last 15 years, I've been a trained scholar with an Ivy League PhD who has written and studied race. What makes me an expert is that I have lectured widely around the world on critical race theory.
PhDs come a dime a dozen. So because you have a PhD, you're an expert. But what county?
No, I don't actually. Actually, a PhD does make you an expert.
Don't pull that PhD card. Actually, sir, what it says is that you walk around like you got a PhD, but you know what? You're just as dumb as 2 left shoes because you're a PhD.
Whoa. We're not
academic.
Hold on, sir. Here's what we're not going to do. Here's what y'all got to mute his mic. Y'all got to mute his mic. Y'all got to mute his mic. This is what I'm saying. If you talk over me and call, we're not going to name call on the show.
Myra, I know you can't laugh at this because this is a situation like when they would laugh at Donald Trump in the years past. I couldn't laugh because this is serious business. But this man is trying to be the governor of your state. And
and we already have one that's not the sharpest knife in the drawer as the governor right now.
Right.
I don't know if this is a requirement on the Republican side that you have to come on live and just show how ignorant you are.
That's a part of Trumpism, the Trump party. Woo. Stephen Hill?
I'm sorry, what, huh?
Don't be ignorant, Steve.
Cheetos flavored popcorn, number 1. Number 2.
Okay, that was my next question.
If PhDs come a dime a dozen, I got a dime. I just want one for me.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is the kind of thing. This. By the way, so that is a perfect example of, to me, gaslighting. Right? If somebody said like PhDs come a dime a dozen, so it don't matter, and since nobody kind of challenges that, or just it comes out of his mouth, people think like, yeah, PhD ain't nothing. No. PhD is 4 years of college, some whatever years of master's after that, and then schooling after that, and a thesis which you have to defend against some of the smartest minds in the world. So if PhDs ever become a dime a dozen, we will become the greatest nation in the land, which we're like number 78, 79 right now.
Okay.
Damn, that popcorn's good. All right, anyway.
Okay, you got time to take one more swallow. Here we go.
Oh, it's more. There's more. Go on.
I have not name called you, sir. You have come on this show. You're a black Republican. I have not called you a name. I've not called you Uncle Tom. I've not called you a handkerchief head. I've not called you a Sambo. I've not called you a shine. I've not called you a ham bone. I haven't done any of that. So you're not going to come on my show and call me dumb. What I will tell you is that critical race theory is a theory that actually emerged out of critical legal studies. It is a theory that makes an attempt to understand the law through the lens of race, and it's founded on some fundamental presumptions. One is the intractability of race and racism, meaning that it's an intractable problem in America, and that we have to use the lens of race to make sense of things. It also is based on the use of counter stories. Listening to as Derek Bell, the critical race scholar, said, the voice is at the bottom of the well to make sense of the world and to make sense of the law. These are two big theories, two big pillars of it. And so what we want to do, if you want to ban it, you have to explain to me why. But the problem is, all these Republicans, all of these scholars, all of these Republicans, all of these non-scholars, they say, I'm going to ban critical race theory, and they can't answer it. And then he says, well, if you can't answer it, then you must not know what it is. It's on some like he who smelt it dealt it kind of logic. The fact of the matter is he can't define it because he don't know what it is. They look for things to ban to signal to white people, hey, I got your back. They ban things that aren't even an issue. There is no public school teacher in America who is attempting to put critical race theory in schools. Critical race theory isn't even taught in high school. It's not even really taught in college. It is taught in law school, and it is increasingly been taught in graduate school because it is a set of theories and understandings to make sense of our lived realities through the law and through everyday life. Those are the things we should be talking about. So if you want to be a black Republican, your first day in office as governor, which you ain't going to be because you ain't going to beat Stacey Abrams as a black Republican, you only in the line because the line is short. But if you want to do this, your first thing, not to ban bullying, not to try and do something against the violence in LGBT students, not to do something about the gap in resources. Instead, you're going to ban a theory that nobody's trying to bring in the first place. That is a smoke signal to white America and really to white racists. So knock it off. We're not going to do this on my show, and you ain't going to call me dumb on my own show. Anyway, we're going to go to break. I'm going to have some water, and we're going to all be cool right after this. Stay with me.
Drop the mic.
Okay.
Myra, I think Stephen Hill is ready to join you.
In honor of the state of Georgia, I present to you Ciroc Peach. When you can't make no sense and you're out of your reach, please get you some Ciroc Peach.
Do the peach.
Yep.
If you're a black Republican, you seem like a leech. Please reach for
the peach.
Ciroc Peach. If you're Michael Lamont Hill, and there's some few folks you got to teach, reach for the peach.
And when you're not ready to preach the gospel of what is right in your party, reach
for the peach. Reach for the peach. I'm gonna take this one to the head. I ain't telling.
My heart is pumping, just pumping for you right now. Yes. Man, oh man.
So that's what we were talking about, our topical, and moving to trending and something a lot lighter, but having to do with perhaps the Cheeto flavored popcorn and other things.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at our friend and your friend, especially Stephen Hill, Will Smith and his challenge. And other people.
That was not Will. Wait,
no. So we have Will, and then other people are now starting to join his challenge.
The first guy was Chris Spencer. That's
Chris.
Chris Spencer, yeah.
Chris ain't that out of weight. He ain't that out of shape. Let's be clear.
And that is the Wayans brother, and so he's not either. And Will the genius that he is managing to take this now into a whole wellness series that he's going to have on HBO.
Freaking genius.
Mm-hmm.
Genius.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like the fact that he's got a little handle there.
I didn't like the fact that with that picture, my face was kind of in his crotch. Like that part, I didn't. that part kind of didn't work for me, but everything else is like, well, we're good.
Well, I'm at that age where I can work with all that doughboy right there. All that little extra.
So
Stephen Hill, when your face is in the crease, reach for the peach.
Then come on down. Come on down, man. Come on down.
I got a problem with none of that.
So what do you think about that? I mean, everybody who has responded, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you saw the people now who are in the photo challenge, and they're going to join Will on his journey to regain that, Independence Day look of his. But it's really interesting, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and good on him for the marketing genius that he is.
Marketing, absolute genius. And it puts a lot of pressure on him, obviously, because he has to come through. Like he can't, like there's gotta be, he's got the before, he's gotta get to the after. And that is no small feat. Once that 5-0 smacks you in the back, that your muscles react differently to stimuli. Your muscles react very differently to stimuli.
When you have trainers and chefs, though, I have no doubt he's going to do it. But this is nothing new, because anybody who ever came to a Sky show, J. Anthony Brown would pull his shirt up at every Sky show and smack his belly and say, all that tightness, that ain't working. You want a belly like this? This a man who been to work, okay? He ain't got to be all day. This a man who out here fixing your cable, working on your car, painting your house. So
we spoke earlier about the great ability to gaslight. That's some gaslighting right there, and it's well done. Well done.
I have no problem with jelly in the belly. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Oh, Will, good on you. All right, so it's time for what you need to know. Here's the 5 top things in the headlines that we presented today. For those who don't know about our What You Need to Know newsletter, please consider, if you would, getting a free subscription, signing up for a free subscription to the What You Need to Know newsletter every morning. Once we have your name and your email address, we will have that in your email box first thing in the morning. And we talk about a lot about politics. We talk about social justice. We also have a business section and health and wellness, HBCUs, as we learned at the feet of Tom Joyner, in terms of all of the things that are going on in that world, and a breadth and wealth of other information as well. So
hey, Yolanda Chica, hey, one of those things should come across the screen going like, how can you subscribe? Like, boom, put it across the screen. This is a suggestion. I mean, you don't have to, but
look at him, our producer here. Like,
it's across the screen. You know, like you put a button like, hey, you look like Black Woody. Ha ha ha. Put one of those across screen so people could understand how to get involved.
I love that. Merry pre-Mother's Day, Stephen Hill.
Does your hat match the carpet? Wait, what?
That sounds more like a question for Vernon Jones. After weeks of speculation, Texas businesses have joined together in order to voice their displeasure with Texas legislatures, state politicians, and the restrictive voting bills that they're working their way through the current legislative session. One coalition is called Fair Elections Trade, and it's made up of several dozen corporations, almost about 50 of them, including American Airlines, Hewlett Packard, Dell, and Microsoft. And the group did not openly criticize the voting bills that are up for vote in their letter that was released yesterday, but it did state opposition to any changes that would restrict eligible voters' access to the polls. And one of the people who was a part of this in instigating the letter and putting it together and bringing together the corporations is the former United States Trade Representative and former mayor of Dallas, Ron Kirk. So the second letter was far more stringent, and this was made up of over 100 Houston executives, and a lot of them were Black. Took a stronger stand against the proposed legislation, comparing the bills to voter suppression. And in their letter, they sent to the Republican Speaker of the House, Dade Phelan. Is he Phelan? I'll say, voter suppression is raising barriers to people's most fundamental rights to participate in our democracy, and a significant discussion of the evidence of voter suppression in these 2 bills, they said. And so this is going to be interesting to see how this works in the state of Texas, as it also was instigated in the state of Georgia. No boycotts called for at this time. No one moving their business out of the state like Major League Baseball did for the All-Star game. But still, they're putting the Texas state legislature on notice that they are not happy with these moves. And so, and Myra, you have a bird's eye view of what's going on in the state of Georgia. What do you think?
I think that it's a start that the businesses say that they voice displeasure, but then again, it's always So what you gonna do about it?
Right. Right.
What are you gonna do about it? Because I think many times they come out and say that, like, we don't want the natives to get restless, but then they don't do a damn thing.
Right.
So you have to follow that up with something. It just can't be, I voice displeasure. That's like having your drunk ass husband come home every night and go, I voice displeasure, but you don't do nothing about it. You know, either put his ass out, put him in AA or something. You just can't voice displeasure.
And the man with the Ciroc bottle is laughing loudest.
I voice displeasure with your actions.
You make me so angry.
So angry. All right, turn around then. Listen,
Steve, what do you think?
so here's what I think. Look, people are going to play. Who's ever in power is going to move it the way they want to. They're going to change the rules. We can fight against the rules. I think that's a thing. That's one thing to do. The other thing to do is like understand what the new rules are and don't let those new rules affect you. Right? There's two different things you can do. One, fight against the rules that are coming your way. But the other thing is, okay, cool. It's new rules. I can't take water to people within 100 feet of the polling center. Cool. I'll take a torture beat. Oh, they're gonna make it harder for me to vote early. Cool. I'm gonna plan my day so I can vote on time. Right. So both fight the way that it's going, but also accept it the way it is, as long as it's that way, and make sure that it doesn't mean that you don't vote. As long as you got both of those covered, we're good.
So let me ask you this. What about the possibility of, because the bills have not been passed in the state legislature nor signed by the governor, obviously in Texas. What about the possibility of saying, if you don't play along with us, if you don't listen to our concerns and our employees' concerns and your state citizens' concerns, then we will stop donating to your campaigns? Blackmail, yes, but still effective or no?
Well, I don't even think it's blackmail. I think it's like what you do is support people who support your views, and if they don't support your views, you don't support them. That's fine. But what it does is that it still doesn't necessarily solve for the problem, because that person may still get elected, but you still have to deal with the rules as they are in that moment.
Well, now,
I support like withhold your money from people who are not doing the things you want to do.
I think that right now, in the midst of this political season, which is now ongoing, it doesn't stop at November 3rd, 2020. I mean, in the state of Texas, we just voted. Voting day was on the 1st, was Saturday. Louisiana has had their election days. All the states are, going through all of this. I just think that it would be most effective, especially when the bills have not been signed. I'm not sure what's going on in the state of Florida, where the governor has yet to sign the restrictive voting bills, as far as I know.
Right.
So I just think that sometimes when you dangle what they really need, which is our money, as major corporations, then that is the greater incentive to say, maybe we ought to have some more conversation about this.
Yeah, if you want it better, don't give them that cheddar.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's the thing. But remember, somebody put it. It's chess, not checkers, right? So you gotta while
You
you're
have
watching your flank over there, while you're saying I'm not supporting people who don't believe in what I believe. You also have to watch your board to the right, which is these are the rules now. The rules changed, so I've got to adjust what I do to the rules change so that I can still vote. Right. The point is, if everybody looks at this and says like, okay, cool, I can still vote, then it will have no effect. Like they can't stop you from voting.
Yeah, they're trying.
Right. No, they're trying. But what they can't do is stop you. They can
I get that.
They can make it harder.
But I'm talking about right now, before we are even getting to the point where people are going to the polls. I'm talking about that one-on-one, the dangling of the dollars before the politicians, because that is their life's blood.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying,
I'm agreeing with you in terms of okay, you're going to take this away from us. You're going to make this that much more difficult. We have to have our plans together. We have to have our stuff together in order to one up you and to show you once again, as we did in November, that that's not the impediment that's going to make a difference for us.
It's just not binary, right? I don't want people to think like I have to do this or that. It's moving on both. It's like any war game of chess. You have to move on two different fronts at the same time sometimes. I'm getting a wicked feedback. He says using his Boston speak.
Shanti says Dems need all the help they can get since they're not willing to play dirty like these Republicans.
I'm not sure that's true, by the way. But,
okay, so give me an example.
So Biden is about to run this through Congress and the Senate, even though he's not going to have bipartisan support at all. He said he wanted to work together with people, but that's fine. But he's going to ram a lot of things through that are going to be beneficial. I want to be clear.
Right. Oh, for sure.
But when you talk about an example, like Biden's about to be like, I'm trying to work with y'all, but work with y'all means like do what I say.
Right.
Well, not necessarily. They're not. Many times they won't even come to the table. Look, they upset because what's her face, Cheney, greeted the president of the United States. Okay, Republicans are upset because she spoke to a man who greeted her, who is her boss, who is the leader of our country. They're upset about that. So, yeah. So I'm like, really? Is that really ramming stuff through, or is that just common freaking sense to me?
Well, it depends on who's the rammer and who's the rammee.
Well, ain't that always
I've just heard that my echo was awful. Is my echo better now, Tamara? If you can, Tamara or Tamara?
It's better. It's better.
I'm good.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Sorry about that if that was.
No, cool. But as long as it's okay for you, that's what's really.
No, that I've never heard that before in my life.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, Stephen Hill, is it good for you?
Well, now that we're in front of thousands of people, you can understand. What am I going to say? Oh, yeah. This is the best I've ever had it in my life. This is crazy. This is so good. Oh, yeah.
A little performance anxiety, perhaps?
Yeah, no, that doesn't really happen with me. So I'm really quite confident in my abilities.
All right, player. Okay, some more Ciroc for everyone. We need that.
If you need a chong to your cheeks.
Oh, you guys. Okay. So now let's move on to perhaps something, because you guys have both flown recently. The coronavirus update and reports of extreme unruly behavior on these flights is sparking action by the FAA. Already, just in the 4 months and some days in which we have been in this year, the Federal Aviation Administration announced that airlines have reported to them more than 1,300 instances of misbehaving passengers in 4 months. And normally over a year, they might have a report of 100 to 150 people.
That's crazy. Now, on the way back from Aruba, I did hear some whimpering and crying, but I apologized to the flight attendant. Because I knew I had to come back home. So that was it. Come on, y'all.
So
I can tell you exactly what this is. So, as you know, I was in my happy place last week. My happy place is in Mexico. I think. First of all, when I got there, the line for customs. So say it's usually like a 5-minute wait. It was an hour and 15 minutes. These people got 2 shots, no clots in their body. 2 shots, no clots, and everybody is in the air right now. And everybody is so stir crazy that the party begins on the flight. Let's be clear. Like, look, I'm one of those like, well, I'm going to go anyhow. But people have now got these 2 shots in, and they haven't. People who have been on a plane in a year and 4 months are like, we are starting the drinking now. We are on this. The party starts as soon as we, please secure your seats.
And Steve, they're bringing their own alcohol. That's one of the things that they're saying. They're bringing their own alcohol on board the plane.
Well, that's because they are worried that they're going to run out.
Yeah.
This is what they tell you. You have to keep your mask on at all times while in the air, except while you're eating or drinking. Right. So all you got to do is sit there for 4 hours like
drinking.
No mask. I'm still drinking. That's what they do.
Yep, those are some of the things they say that more extreme incidents involve a passenger urinating on a flight out there in the middle.
That's a little bit too much right there.
And spitting into the mouth of a child on board. Who does that?
Madonna?
Really?
Really? Have the police officers ready at the gate for me.
And there's a lot of that. And of course, they're bringing more these people up on charges too. So that's what's happening in the air and on the ground. Human trafficking is at an all-time high. We had a case in Houston last Thursday or Friday. It was reported that they found close to 100 people who were immigrants from another or migrants from another country, from South American countries, Central American countries, and they were found in a 2-bedroom house, like close to 100 people. And these, stories about this, about human trafficking, sex trafficking, and what have you. People are, and what happened with this particular case, how the authorities found out about it. One woman had paid like $11,000 for her brother to be brought to the United States. When he got there, they told her that she needed to pay them another $6,000. And she said, I can't, she called the police. And so that's when they put together their attack and went in on this house. And they said it took them a long time to finally determine and keep these people, because first they had to worry about coronavirus and the spread. And secondly, they thought that the people who were behind this, those that were doing the trafficking, were mixing in with the people who were in these rooms. And so finally people started to say, well, that's one of the people, or she's another person, and so on and so forth, before they finally got this all straightened out over the weekend. It's
a huge problem for the United States. You can't blame people for wanting a better life. And for me, anyone who wants to come to this country and work hard, I'm all for it.
Right.
I'm all for it. Period.
Yeah. I get it. And Lord knows, the president is making it, now for more people to come and raising those numbers as for people who are coming over the border. But people, during the Trump administration, they were making plans and they were paying for their family members to bring their family members across the border, and legally or not.
Well, I'll be the bad guy. I'll be the bad guy once again.
I know.
I think people should be able to come across, but I think there needs to be a process, or else we'll have two countries in one.
Yeah.
Or 3 countries, or 5 or 6 countries. So there's a legal process through which you can become an American citizen. I don't think it's a citizen. I'm not sure it's necessarily that onerous. I know people who have done it. The challenge is there are folks who will come over illegally at this point. I want to be clear. There's a process. That's not saying that like people can't come over. Bob can't come over. Javier can't come over. Roberto can't come over. Julianne can't come over. But there's a process that you should go through, regardless of the country that you're from. I think people are focusing on Mexico, but like regardless of the country.
You're talking. Like where the vice president is supposed to go next week, Honduras and Guatemala and all of that,
and France and Greece and
sure.
Angola and
that
Kenya.
that mom of 9 from Mali, perhaps. So let us move to the question of the day. And Myra, just wishing you a happy early Mother's Day, but we need to have this question.
Yes.
This is really interesting because this came from our staff, from our What You Need to Know staff, because this was never a question in my family. Who is the best cook in the family? Is it Granny? Is it Mama? Or is it Amy?
Oh, in my family, it was definitely my grandmother. My grandmother sold dinners, period.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, in the neighborhood. And you trust and believe, I had that what was it, the PF flyer, the red wagon?
The
And
radio flyer.
Yes.
Radio
thank
flyer.
you. Radio flyer, and a chicken dinner was $2.50, a fish dinner was $3, and you best believe this little kindergartner best come back with her money right. She did not play. Look, Mother McDonald did not play that.
What was her specialty?
Oh, she made homemade rolls. Oh my God. And you had to push the dough down and let it rise, and push it down again and let it rise. And you can smell that.
I can't tell you how many times.
Okay,
Yes.
and let it rise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That and homemade ice cream. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. With that
With
dry ice and turning it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you all had to take turns.
Well, I had to be first because, you know, my little scrawny arms at 4 years old. And I just turn it, and then be like, I can do it. And all my uncles were like, get out the way, little girl. But yeah.
Ice cream.
French vanilla ice cream. Yes, ma'am.
Nice.
Yes, ma'am. Homemade ice cream. And she was also known to make wine during the holidays, and everyone could drink, even the children.
Whoa.
Yes.
So was it real wine?
It was real. Shit. The hell? We ain't gonna wait till Christmas for some grape juice.
What? Because it used to be like with my aunt and treating me to coffee. It was really like milk with a little brown in it, just to.
No.
This was wine. Okay.
Everybody drank out the same cup. This was
I love it.
So was
So
wine.
it was the Catholic Church then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Stephen Hill, how about you and your family? Did you guys have
Viola Ruth Clemens. Viola Ruth Clemens, my grandmother, is by far the best cook and the person who enjoyed it more than anybody else. There's nothing that my grandmother enjoyed more than cooking for family at the holidays. Viola Ruth Clemens, 1909 to 2004.
Wow.
I still miss her to this day.
That's
and like Myra's, like Myra's, like my Myra's grandmother, it was all about the rolls. It was all about the rolls and the ability to cook rolls and bacon. I thought bacon was kind of like a commodity, like everything is the same. Until my grandmother made bacon. I'm like, this is some. So
Steve, what was the difference?
Do you cayenne pepper in the fat? What?
Oh.
Oh no. I don't know what she did, but she made bacon. It's bacon and rolls. So my grandmother by far the best.
And that right there, young man, with a cup of coffee, that's a meal. Right there.
Yeah, it is. That's all you need.
Oh,
that's all you need.
Gosh.
My friend, my awesomeness, Whitney always says food tastes different when love is baked in.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Myra, it's just true.
Yeah.
It's just true.
Yeah.
So one more time. I know loopers love it when I have an artifact. So.
Oh, that's nice. That's beautiful.
Artifact.
Viola Ruth.
Viola Ruth Clemens.
Clemens.
Okay. Queen of the backhand. Story for another time. Story for another time.
My grandmother was calling me one time from the other room, and I'm looking at TV, and I said, huh? I never saw her body. I swear. All I saw was a magic. It was like she grew superpowers, and that arm came around the door and she mushed my face. Woo! Yes.
Oh, golly. Well, I don't know about people if you're responding and telling us who was it your grandma, your mom, your auntie? It was none of that in my family. Fried cornbread.
Who was it for you? No. Who was it for you?
That's what I was saying. In my family, my godmother was the cook. Connie Williams, and she used to make the best gumbo. That's why I love soups and gumbos to this day, because I just the memory of her gumbo, and her fried chicken was pretty awesome, because my mother didn't like chicken, and she swore after she came out of the war that she would never eat chicken again. So my godmother made great chicken. She didn't eat chicken. We didn't have a lot. We were talking about this with Yolanda and Ward the other day. You know, she asked me why I don't like KFC, and I said because I just never did, and we didn't have a lot of chicken, but I knew that was one chicken that I didn't like. And so, but my godmother, Connie Williams, Lord, I mean, everything was just like chicken salad was just delicious, you know.
That's very different, because usually
my mom made reservations. My mom, like her daughter, made reservations. My dad used to have this great joke. He said, you know, about his wife cooking and stuff, because my dad did a lot of the cooking, because he did it at the firehouse sometimes too. But he told people, no, you're not going to get Betty Ann to cook. He said, what you have to do is you have to get your hatchet and your gun, and you got to go inside that kitchen, and you got to just cut through all of the jungle. And then when you come to the lions and tigers and bears, oh my, you got to kill them. You got to slay them. You got to get them out the way. And then you go and say, okay, all clear. And then she'll come into the kitchen. Who has that kind of time?
Sounds like an episode of Law and Order, if you ask me. And you don't like KFC. Usually when you ask people, why don't you like KFC? Well, my children, Chad and Becky, have warned me away from it, so.
Well, my mama, she didn't like chicken, and then when she said, "Okay, we'll go get KFC," and it was like, nah, because Myra, you can speak, and Stephen, you can probably talk about this too. In Washington D.C., in Chicago, the best fried chicken places were not at the major, franchises like KFC, right?
No, you had to go down to Gladys's. Yeah. You had to go to one of them one-name restaurants that was in the neighborhood, and you had the best food and biscuits and stuff. Plus, to me, go where your local winos go, because they know.
Once again, we're back to the wine and the winos.
Why not? Why not?
Look,
why not?
Any neighborhood wino where the best food is, and I promise you, they will point you to a good restaurant.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. All right, so it's time for entertainment. And Stephen Hill, I wanted this story for you because of your love for the Jacksons. And Yolanda, can you check that fax machine for me? Fax machine, the printer. About the Michael Jackson story. This is his kids are getting a tax break. Did you see that?
So I saw, but I didn't read the details. Please, what are the details of that?
So after years, the court has handed a tax win to the Michael Jackson heirs. They said it's a major victory in a years-long battle, finding the IRS wildly inflated the value at the time of his death, his assets and image, leading to an estate tax bill for his heirs that was far too high.
His likeness. Right.
So the judge at the time, the IRS at the time, said that the aspects of his worth were in the area of $482 million. In his decision that was issued this week, Judge Mark Holmes put that figure at $111 million, closer to what the estate's own estimates. So that's big. That's a big difference.
Here's what I love about this. Only in death do white people want to value a black person's likeness more. Right? Only in death. Right? When you're alive, it's like, nah, you ain't that worth it. You ain't sit over there. You ain't worth that much. But in death, when they think you can make some money off of it, they're like, you're worth $500 million.
Yeah.
And we're going to take all the tax on that. They ain't slick. They ain't slick.
And only when they get in front of the IRS do they go, I was just playing. This is zirconium. I was just playing. All this here fake. Right. Everything's fake. Fake. I'm like,
So think about that, you guys. This has been 12 years in the making that they have been going back and forth over this.
So
I'm so sorry. I didn't hear a thing you said after Myra's second fake. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hear.
I'm not mad at you.
I wasn't paying no attention. She was like cubic zirconia, and then she did the second fake, and I was like, well, I need a minute. All right, I'm back. Go ahead, keep
Fake.
Some other things in the news. When you are you all going to be watching the Tokyo Olympics this summer from the Olympics from Tokyo this summer?
Oh, yeah, not even a little bit. No.
Not even? Okay.
I can't wait. It's gonna be great. No, not. I mean,
I normally love that, Myra, and Stephen, but I don't think they should have it. First of all, I think it's still too soon. But a part of this is that Tokyo Olympics athletes will not be allowed to wear their Black Lives Matter gear whenever they want. There will be certain times that they according to the Olympic Games Committee, revealed this policy that no demonstrations on the field of play during the ceremony. And they said that had now confirmed that Black Lives Matter apparel is included in that ban. They say the slogans will be allowed during at least some parts of the games, at the press conferences, perhaps during interviews and team meetings. But there will be other times where there will be no Black Lives Matter, no mention of it, nothing on the headbands, nothing, no T-shirts, no nothing.
That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
Do you think that's an economic statement too, because of who is sponsoring, or whatever?
I don't think it's an economic statement. I think the Olympics have been unbelievably consistent over the years about no political statements. Mm-hmm. Black Lives Matter, whether we like it or not, is a political statement. We happen to agree with that political statement, but it is a statement outside of what are these athletes doing athletically, right? And they've been extremely consistent about no outside messaging. So it doesn't bother me that a wonderful, in my opinion, wonderful political statement like Black Lives Matter cannot be included. That makes sense. I wish it could be, but then you have to include all other political statements. So okay.
So, and speaking of political statements at the Olympics, I just want to give a shout out. Tomorrow's the birthday of the great Olympic great Tommy Smith, and remember him from the Mexico Olympics. That's right, with the fist raised during the awarding of the medals there. And we have also a story that we had in our newsletter that is entertainment related and a real.
Tommy Smith for a second, though.
I'm sorry, so
just for a moment, Tommy Smith for a second. But what you can choose to do is buck the system, say screw the rules, and then make a political statement as long as you're willing to take the results. And so to Tommy Smith
and Carlos
and Carlos, I forget, I never get his last name correctly, so I don't want to butcher it. But to Tommy and Carlos, who made a conscious decision to go against the rules and do that, and they suffered. There's a great documentary on Tommy Smith that you should see if you haven't seen it already. Really? But know that they broke the rules and they took the responsibility for that, and they took the punishment, but it moved culture forward in such a way that it was worth it. So it's all congruent.
Yeah, it really, just really proud moments for people who, like you said, Stephen, to go back and watch the doc on that. A shout out to Simone Biles, standing up for the girls. John Carlos. Okay, so Simone Biles has made the leap from Nike to the Gaps, their Athleta brand. And so she did not like, as a part of her 6-year deal, the way that women were portrayed or regarded at Nike. And so she has made the move, as have others like Allison Felix, the Olympian runner, to make that change. And so just a real shout out to her for making that and making a stand. And a lot of people are pointing at Nike and saying, you need to get your act together. And and if you have high profile athletes like that doing it, it's going to happen. They're going to get it.
Bad week for Nike because they lost the Kobe Bryant estate as well.
Yeah.
Right?
And a shout out to Vanessa. Yeah. And Vanessa Bryant saying, no more with you. So we'll go somewhere else. Okay. So before we go, Stephen Hill, I just want to give you an opportunity, and Myra, if you have any memories or as a mother or of your mom, because you've always told us great stories about your mother, and today with your grandmother. But just as we get ready for Mother's Day, this is just a good time for us to share a quick thought or memory about Mother's Day. and our moms.
I was still thinking. Okay.
Okay, I'll go. You want me to go first?
Yes, please.
So I have mine. Number one, there's two things I'd like to say. Number one, my mother is one of the most awesome mothers on the entire planet. But the thing that I most treasure about my mother is that she and my father provided an environment so that my brother and I were not competitive, but that we were best friends. Right? And she started that when we were young. And to this day, like I'm literally driving to DC tonight because for the first time in a year and 4 months, my brother will be coming from California to DC to see my mother, right? And so I'm literally driving he's like, I can take an Uber from the airport. I'm like, nah, Negro, I'm on the East Coast, so I'm gonna come down, get you from the airport and take you over your mom's. And I cannot wait, right? My mother built an environment where my brother and I are best friends, and I love that, number one. Number two, and this is a shameless plug, but I love this woman so much, and she is my favorite mother under 40. On Heart to Heart with Stephen Hill this week on Sirius XM at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. I talked to Keisha Cole, not about her music. I mean, I care about her new music, but this was really about as a celebration of motherhood, and as someone who has put on the record that her motherdom, as a daughter, she didn't have she had challenges with her mother figures, as it was documented on TV. Sure. And to see her turn into one of the most attentive, responsible, awesome moms that I've ever seen is just a great trajectory. So I have a conversation with Keisha Cole about motherdom. And even though I promised her, like, I'm not going to talk about your retirement, she brings up her retirement herself. So this 11 o'clock p.m. Saturday night. 10 o'clock on Sirius, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern on Sirius XM, channel 48. That's it.
Right. Okay. Myra, do you have a?
I gave you plenty of time right there. I gave you plenty of time.
You really did.
Just a quick thing for my mother and grandmother were always very, very blessed in the bosom department, and I was sort of like 2 fried eggs.
You got them. Okay.
Two little fried eggs. Nothing ever happened. When I had my son, they just went ba-boom, and I was like, sweater girls. And then when I stopped breastfeeding, they went back to little fried eggs, and my mama kept looking at me like, well, maybe after you have another baby, I don't know what happened there. She said, but one day you're gonna have some bosoms. Well, mama, God bless your soul, but ta-da! She was right. she was right. And and another quick shameless plug. I am doing a paint and sip, a virtual paint and sip on Friday at 7 o'clock for the Madam Walker Legacy Center, Art on the Avenue. And so awesome. I am posting this on my Facebook thing, and this is going to be so much fun because I can sip, but I can't paint worth a damn. So this ought to be a lot of fun. 7 p.m. this Friday, Eastern Standard Time.
Nice, very nice. Thanks, you guys. I so appreciate you. And it's been a wonderful time, even with our technical snafus and what have you. Myra, happy Mother's Day to you. Stephen Hill, happy Mother's Day to your wonderful mom, president of the Clay Aiken Fan Club and all that she is, which I
happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Cinco de Mayo to all the mommies and the poppies.
And tomorrow, George Wallace on Thursday with comedian Ron G. We'll see you all. And if we don't see you tomorrow, hopefully you'll have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
I didn't get my Yogi's jewels.
Oh, I sure didn't. Son of a gun. Right. Thanks, Myra. Thanks for reminding me. I had it up here. Yes, you deserve to be happy. Inhale happiness. Exhale sadness. Happiness, sadness. And trust me, it would have been very sad if I had not gotten that for us. So thank you. Thank you for that. Happy reminder. Bye, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
Merry Mother's Day.